What's up guys, Zestran here, and today I want to talk about DLC, and just give my opinions on DLC and what I think of it. So, most people think that DLC is just content that the developers and publishers will cut from the game, just sell later, just to nickel and dime us. But most of the time, that's really not the case. It's usually content that they had planned as DLC, but they weren't going to finish it in time for release, or they didn't start developing that piece of content at the beginning of the game development, so they knew it was going to come out later on. But there is some cases of DLC that is very money-grubbing, like, hey, it's on the disc. It was Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I think it was, where all the DLC characters were on the disc day one, and so they were already in the game, but you still had to buy them. That's some gratuitous DLC. But all DLC is really not that bad. Look at Mario Kart 8, for example. After the game came out, months after the game came out, the first DLC pack came out in November, when the game came out in May. And then the second one didn't come out to almost a year later. And between those two DLC packs that we paid less than $20 for, we got pretty much half the game extra. And then you look at Smash, we got DLC support for over a year. And yeah, it was just mostly just characters and Mii costumes and stages, but that's all bunch of extra content that we got after the fact, and it wasn't like packed in day one. And even when they first announced DLC, Mewtwo, they're like, yeah, we started developing this character a few months ago when the game was clearly way into production. But I personally, I like DLC. I think it improves the longevity of the game. It gives you a reason to go back to a game. Like every time the Smash DLC would come out, I would go back to Smash. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't go back to it anyway, but it still gives me, oh wait, there's some new characters so I can mess around with. So it gives me hours of fun trying to figure out these characters' movesets and playing as them. And then even games like Borderlands, that game has some of my favorite DLC ever. That's like expansion packs. And there was 4 of them, and I love playing all of them. They're all meaty and fun to do. And even like more recent DLC stuff, like Batman Arkham Knight, I remember it was a big deal that the season pass was so expensive or whatever. But, and then all the content that came out was only like an hour long or 2 hours long or so. But if you add it all together for the price of the season pass, you get a lot of content. I mean, yeah, I didn't get it all at once, but out of all the season pass, you get a lot of content and a good amount of playtime as well. So I still think that's okay. But like publishers and developers, they don't like look at DLC. Oh yeah, we're just gonna nickel and dime these people. The truth is that game development is more expensive than ever. And comparatively, video games are cheaper than ever because they're still $60, and that only became the standard for new retail games last generation, so PS3 and Xbox 360. The game development has gotten more and more expensive, and so they need to, help make up their money, because not every game's going to sell Grand Theft Auto 5 numbers, and that's just the reality. And if you don't think games are cheaper than ever, just look back in the cartridge days like NES or N64 or SNES or whatever, and cartridges were really expensive. Like The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask was $80 when it came out, and I know I wasn't too cognizant of game price and stuff like that because I was born in 1994, so I'm only 22, so I don't really remember. I've never really bought games on N64 or anything like that when they were new, but I know from listening to other people who were around that time talk about it and that they were expensive, and you can just go back and like look at old game ads and stuff like that from like Toys R Us or whatever. So $60 for a game that costs millions and millions and millions of dollars to make, you can see why they would want to add some extra content in there later on for you had to pay for so they can help fund their next game or just keep their studio in business, because there's a lot of studios that close because poor game sales and all that stuff. But I personally, I don't hate DLC. There's some DLC that I do wish they would just be like, why can't we just unlock this? A lot of cosmetic stuff, like here's costumes and stuff like that, and you don't really unlock any of that stuff in game anymore. But then I do really like big meaty expansion packs, or here's extra story content and stuff like that. If it's nothing taking out from the main game, then that's fine. But if something is blatantly taking out from the main game, that's different. But I do hate seeing all these arguments when DLC is announced or season pass is announced, like, oh, they're just nickel and diming us, blah, 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 they just want our money, evil corporation, blah, 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 generic evil corporation quote. But that's really not the case. And I really don't mind DLC. I like it. There's some games that I'm really into. Yeah, I'll go buy the DLC in a heartbeat. Like if Zelda Wii U ends up having DLC, like it's like a little expansion pack, hell yeah, I'm going to buy that the second it comes out. Or Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm sure if it has DLC, it'll probably be like the Final Mix or something like that. Who really knows what they would do for that? I mean, even like Final Fantasy games really haven't had DLC, except for like, I remember 13.2 had like costumes for like the characters, but Again, that's just cosmetic stuff. You don't need that. And a lot of people agree that cosmetic DLC is okay because you don't need that. That, if you want to spend $5 on a costume for a character, that's, good on you. That's your choice. But when it's like content locked out of a game, like big story content or something like that you might need, that's a little different. But that's how I feel. Just let me know how you guys feel about DLC in the comments. You heard my opinions. I like DLC for the most part, especially when it improves the longevity of a game. But yeah, so make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.